Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome to another Marvel Strike Force event video. Today, we're here to talk about Blastoff to 100 and also a little bit on Race to the Top. Some of you might be a little bit surprised to know that we will and hopefully are going to be able to get some of the rewards that are in Race to the Top completely free to play. So we're going to go over all of the event stuff that you need to know for the upcoming events. And as far as Race to the Top, we're going to talk a little bit about gold spending, leveling up, and how long it might take, and also what realistic expectations are for this event. So if you are ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, of course, the first thing that I want to cover here today is just the subtotal really quick, and that's where we are for the month of January. So with basically we're going through week 2 now, week 3 actually at this point. There's going to be like 4.5 weeks of this, maybe close to 5 weeks. I think it was a 34-day event. That our current subtotal is 577K. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that you're going to be at that. It's just if you added everything else up that is available, that's what you would get. And we still have 2 more weeks after with Symbiote of the Spaceway, which is the Void Knight release event, and Into the Gwenumverse, which is presumably the Gwenum release event as well. So that alongside a couple of other Alliance-based events, that's where we are so far. Let's talk about Blastoff to 100 before we get to all that Race to the Top, all the level cap and all that stuff, and the crazy Kraken appreciation event or whatever you want to call it. It is and it isn't. Like, I think there is going to be room for free to play to get some points in there, but we'll talk about that. So Blastoff to 100 is a 7-day event. It's a pretty simple event, but let's run through it anyways. It's campaign energy and raids. That's it. There's only 2 things. Usually there's like 3 or more different things that are adding points in, but the total milestone points that you need is 175,000. You're not getting that. The event item milestone points is 87.7k. That's about milestone 13. You're going to get 78,000 event currency. And then, so this time around, I actually did add the free claims in. I don't know if this is going to be 100% correct, and I will add this in here. But I think based on some of the other math down below, I think this might make sense. Now, this is going to be an event where you're primarily spending your campaign energy in the events. Sorry, campaign energy in the campaigns, of course. Things like, depending on what you're farming anyways, like for me, I'm still farming gold orb fragments. Maybe I should be farming training orb fragments, but hey, let me know what you're doing in the comments down below. Typically, you're going to be farming Nexus, villains, and heroes hard to some degree for a variety of different things, and that's where I expect everyone else, unless you're not there yet, of course, to do that. And hopefully that they all give the same fragment or the currency ratio. Sometimes they stop doing this, but sometimes, like if you're in the lower end of the campaigns, you get less. I really hope they learn from that, though. But anyways, the total web milestone points is quite a lot. So every single day, you're only going to need to do 10 raid battles. Very easy to do. And you're going to get 38,500 points over 7 days, which is 3,000 direct milestone points plus 2.5 thousand Sentry credits daily. So these Sentry credits are going to be a new event store that's going to pop up on Monday at 1 p.m. You're going to be able to buy different stuff. It's probably just like a lot of the other events, with a varying degree of cost. That you can buy character shards, that you can buy teal uniques, teal gear, all sorts of other stuff, orange gear, and blah, 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 and whatever. It's going to be in there, and you're going to be able to get this daily, and it should be okay. It's extra free stuff that we didn't have before, right? Now, as far as your campaign energy per day goes, it's the same grand total, of 1,108. That's like if you add up your time-based energy, your free refreshes, up to 4 cores, or 200 cores daily, and their web milestone, you get 1,108. And so I am going on 6 to 1 this time. I wanted to put 7 to 1, but I don't think they did 7 to 1 actually. In fact, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they did 6 to 1. Yeah, for this the solar schematics. So I am doing 6 to 1 again because they've done 8 to 1, but I think that's too generous this time for this event based on the math. So I'm going to 6 to 1 again. I don't think the 7 to 1, while a little bit better, I don't think we're going to get that. And so if we do that, that means you're going to get a total of 46.5 thousand points or Sentry credits. I should clarify. This is Sentry credits that you're farming. So this is stuff that you're going to take to the event store and be able to use there. And that's going to add to your milestone point total. So 46.5k plus 38.5k from the web milestone plus a 7,000 from the free claim. That's it. That's it. Now, I do want to talk... There is a grand total, but I do want to talk about some things that people are doing, and that's saving energy, or basically going above their cap. Now, this is unintentional. What you might see in mine, I'm at my daily reset, so I just haven't spent it yet. But basically, people are going here and damn pop-ups. They're going here, buying the 50 cores ahead of the event, and then hoarding it. I just want to tell you that it's not going to make a significant difference on this event if you do that, unless you've been doing it for like weeks. You know, if you're doing it just for a couple of days, you're very unlikely to get much progress on that. And I wanted to share with you, you know, down here as a result. So if you did 8 refreshes or 16 refreshes, you know, because let's say you're just doing 50/50s and keeping your energy like at the cap and then just going over a little bit, then you know it's not going to amount to a lot of extra points. Basically, this is what I'm, you know, as far as coring going before the event, this is basically the additional amount of points, and it's not going to make a big difference on your milestone. Like you might get like one more milestone, and that's really about it. So, but you're also not spending this kind of energy daily that you might get on gold orb fragments or training orb fragments or any or shards or anything else that you might need. So I don't normally, unless you're going to get a good payout, I don't normally recommend doing this kind of stuff. This is like very like top 0.1% kind of thing, but people have been asking me about that, so I wanted to mention that. We'll see. I'll show you that in the milestone as well. So the reasonable points total is 92,000, which is almost milestone 14. It is past the 87.7 that you need for milestone 13. I will bring up the chart here as well, just to show you. So if we do zoom in here a little bit, and I do have I believe we can go over here, and I'm just going to go away for a minute. So 87.7, which is down here. This is the event item. Yeah, I guess you need to see this far side as well. 96.5, that's milestone 14. So if you hoarded a bunch, you would get that. You get, okay, 100 dark promotion credits, 125 gold promos and stuff. Like, it's okay. But it's anything insane. But getting to this milestone 15 for the 1,000 Dawn Orb fragments, unless the ratio is above 6, I don't see people getting this. Normally, we've been getting like 13, 14 free to play, and like that's it. So if you want to hoard, like I don't even think hoarding would even get you to 15, frankly, because the amount of additional points that you'll get, like I said, 105,000. So if we go back here, 105,000, okay, 92,000 plus this, like you would need to hoard quite a bit more in order to even get half a Diamond Dawn Orb. And I just don't think it's really worth it, in my opinion. There is like 2 Elite 5 orbs and some terrible catalysts that you don't need. Damage and armor is not super important. Health and focus is way more important, which is why it's down here, right? And you're definitely not getting down this far. So yeah, don't bother. Don't waste your time on that one. So just wanted to kind of point that out really quick. So final notes. Let me switch back. We don't know the campaign energy ratio again. We used to get this information, but not so now. That being said, you know, we rarely get past the event item these days, so don't expect high ratios. I don't think it's going to be higher than 6 personally this time around. Let's talk about Race to the Top. Surprisingly, I think this is something that we might actually be able to score in. As much as people think this is a Kraken event, it is a 40-day event, which does allow us to get, I would say, up to level 98. And I'm going to show you some data about that. But first, before we do, I want to kind of take a look at the race to the... Oh, yeah, by the way, actually, very quickly, Blastoff to 100 has a leaderboard. It's... Don't expect much. You know, as far as your kind of top 10%, maybe you might get 1 Diamond Dawn Orb. So there you are. There's some dark promos in there. You know, it's not terrible, but just don't expect too much. So Race to the Top. What's in Race to the Top? And I hate that the fact that the photo's still blurry, but basically 1 Mega Gold Orb, 6 Red Star Sunspot, this milestone, Captain Marvel costume, the Mega Gold Orb down here, and a 7 Red Sunspot, and then the other third Mega Gold Orb and 1 Diamond Sunspot. Those are the main things that we're going to be taking a look at in this video, because I think those are the more reasonable, although very expensive to do still, but you might be able to pull this off. So first off, I want to kind of bring up my Race to the Top. So 40-day event, these are the different milestone points that you need to hit in order to actually get there to these milestones. So the 6 Red Sunspot, 7 Red Sunspot, 1, and frankly, the Sunspot Red Stars might not matter. You might have already pulled this, right? Because Red Stars are very easy to pull. But the Mega Gold Orb, who knows, you know, might be worthwhile. You know, if you do end up pulling a jackpot, it's super rare, but you might be able to do that anyways. And the 3rd Mega Gold Orb and 1 Diamond Sunspot. This is going to be very hard to accomplish unless you have a shit ton of gold saved, but not impossible. I actually think that there's a good chunk of people that might be able to pull this off if you're diligent. So let's talk about the actual event. So you get points, and it's limited per origin per level. So you can level up to 10 characters up to level 100. You know, for example, 96 is 100, caps at 1,000. They all cap 10 times, right? You can level up characters 10 times to 100, but per origin. So there's a total of 50 characters that you could level, 10 from each origin, to get the points, basically, which is a lot of characters, by the way, to 100. But so most of us are not going to do that. That being said, let's look at what you could do. And I think that free to play can get level 98 in 40 days. This will involve some coring, typically at least 200 cores per day, but I believe that it's going to be possible. And what's interesting is that in order to get to that sunspot and the third mega gold orb, you do need to take 50 characters to level 98. Okay, and that'll get you to the 35,000 to get that. So how do we get that, and how much is that going to cost? Well, you might have saw that down below. But very quickly, I do want to kind of pivot to this other spreadsheet that I have that I've been making, and it's pretty rough. Like basically, I've just counted all the XP sources in the game right now, which includes campaign energy, ISO 8 energy, incursion energy, showcase XP, which is a little bit, it's not a lot, daily objectives, and how much that grand total is, you know. And then I've taken the numbers basically down here from what was 91 to 95. And then I added 1,000 on for each of the levels, which again, I'm not saying it's 100% correct that this is what it's going to be. I don't know. But I'm using this as kind of a representation because that's what it was from 91 to 95. I don't know if it's going to be linear like this one or if it's going to jump. It might jump a little bit more, but just to give a rough idea of where we could get, that basically, if you were doing 200 cores daily, it would take about 2 weeks-ish per level. Okay, so that's about 14 days, another 14 days, and then like 14 and a half days. Give you about, I would say, 42 days to 98. So if you were to pump up your spending to about 400 daily cores, then I could see you definitely getting maybe towards the back end of it. But also keep in mind that we do have double refresh days and double XP days within the next 40 days. So actually this 42 days, 43 days here could very well be like 35 days, you know, when taking that into account. Because if you read the blog, there is going to be a 2x energy refresh day and then 2x XP day as well, which are basically the same. You're just spending it differently. So that being said, I think that very well you could get 98 in about 30 days. Maybe you could get 99. In fact, but that's not what we're talking about here in the math video, but maybe you could if you're spending about 400 daily cores. You know, so it really just depends on how much power cores you're going to have to level up and how much you have to play with. 600 daily cores. The reason why I had a little table for a column for this was because you could do 600 daily if you do 200 in campaign, ISO, and incursion energy, which give you the same amount of bonus XP. You're just spending it differently. That's all, because you get the 50 refreshes, you know, 50, 50, 50, 50, blah, 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 blah. And so that could hypothetically, well, it'll get you to level 100 a lot faster. Again, these are very rough numbers. These are probably not the exact numbers, but I just want to share with you like what is within the realm of possibility. I do believe that 98 is possible. So let's go back to the milestone, or sorry, the other table a little bit. And so to get this, what do you need to do? For 1 diamond sunspot and 3 mega gold orbs, how much will it cost to get those 50 characters to level 98? 125 million gold. Now, that does sound like a lot. But keep in mind that you not only do you have the gold that you have right now, but you also have 40 days worth of gold more yet to come. Typically, you do obtain about 100 million gold per month. I'm not even lying. I have a gold calculator for this. I can actually bring it up. I've been keeping track of this. This actually doesn't even include the new challenges. So over here, you can see that the daily, over here, the monthly gold that we get is 106 million, not including the new gold challenges. So that's quite substantial, right? And then that's more than 40 days. 40 days would be like 130 million gold. So you very well could get the gold to spend this if you can get to level 98. Now, what would you need to do to get to some of these other milestones, like the Captain Marvel costume or even the second gold, mega gold orb? It would be roughly, I would say roughly about half the gold. So you're looking at about 65 million gold spent, which is more than reasonable in my opinion over the 40 days, given how much that you're going to get. You know, from all the people who have been hoarding gold, from the money that you have now, plus 40 more days worth of gold accumulation, I think it very well is possible to do this. Could you go up to 99? Maybe. Like, what's in the 99? Like, what would be even reasonable down here? Some of the blue 4 ions, perhaps. But you're probably not getting the 2 diamond sunspot. I think that's well beyond that. I didn't calculate it myself, but I just don't think that's reasonable at that point. There's way more gold than that. But maybe some people will. So I just wanted to let you know that I think it's very possible not only to get the 3rd mega gold orb, but the 1 diamond sunspot. I think that if you're diligent in leveling and you're diligent in spending your gold in the right characters, then I think you very well could. Now, is it worth all of that? Well, that's entirely up to you, right? Because that means like don't spend in the supply store. Do you have the training orbs The training orb fragments to spend that much gold on the characters, that's a completely separate question as well, right? So I don't buy a lot of G18s. I'm only doing G18 bio, and that's about it because of Hive Mind. Other than that, I'm not really spending any there. So I am saving quite a bit of gold, and I should, over the course of the next 40 days, hopefully, I might be able to get the 1-star or 1 diamond sunspot if I'm very careful in my gold spending. So that's going to be it, guys. That's it for Blastoff to 100 and Race to the Top. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. It's not as crackeny of an event as you think it is, though, of course, the Krakens will get all the stuff at the very top of the milestone. So that's it. But until next time, everyone, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.